So you've been farming a ton of Armada of Annihilation as well as the Christmas Urgent Quest, mainly because you're hunting for those 8-slot weapons with Exceed Energy, Divine Soul, as well as all those mumbo jumbo super endgame affixes that you're trying to get in order to make your Guardian Soul and in order to get like 400 all stat and all that jazz, right? But you're sick and tired of RNG screwing you over every single time and you're not getting any 8-slotted weapons. If that's the case, well, you're in luck. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to reduce the RNG involved, and hopefully you'll be able to get more 8-slotted weapons as well as maybe units. But first of all, if you're new to the channel, I upload PSO2 content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the first step to this method is very simple. We're simply going to talk to Ziggs and go to his client orders. He's going to have two client orders over here called Putting in the Work Augmentalist as well as Putting in the Work Good Fortune. Both of these quests will require you to obtain an item. However, it is extremely easy to obtain this item. So first of all, pick up both of these quests, okay? Once you've picked up both quests, we're simply going to run up the stairs to the red light district. Once we're at the red light district, we're going to talk to the X-Cube exchanger over here. And right here at the bottom, there are two weapons that she sells. One is the Nioi bow as well as the Varolette. So you want to pick up both of these weapons. You only need to pick up one copy of each, so that will cost you a total of 16 X-Cubes. Once you pick up those two weapons, we're going to come to the left side to the Photon Drop Swapper. You're going to talk to her, go to the Photon Boost Exchange Shop, and pick up a couple of the EXP weapon minis. I recommend picking about 10, should be more than enough. If you don't have any photon boosters, simply just run advanced quests a couple times and you should have a bunch. Like you can see here, I've got like 4,800 of them. Now, if you don't have any photon boosters and you're really desperate, then there is another way to get these weapon EXP things, and you can get them through the X-Cube exchanger. As we can see right here, there's the EXP weapon mini. However, it costs 5 X-Cubes each. So if we were to get 10, that would be 50 X-Cubes. In most people's cases, getting the photon boosters is a lot easier than getting X-Cubes. So, you know, just see what your situation is and make your best judgment. Next thing is we're going to come to Monica or Dudu, and you're simply going to talk to them. You're going to go to Enhance Item and go to the Weapons tab, and you're going to enhance both of these weapons to plus 30. And once they get to plus 30, you'll notice that their potentials will become level 3. So you can see over here, Augmentalist level 3. So this increases the chances of you getting higher slotted weapons as well as units. So let's say you did a regular run and you were supposed to get a 7-slotted weapon, but because you had this weapon equipped, the chances will increase of you getting an 8-slot weapon instead of a 7-slot weapon. And this becomes a very big deal, especially later down the line in episode 6, because as you guys may have seen from my upslotting hell video, the difference between a 7-slot weapon and an 8-slot weapon is huge. It is astronomically different. I just wanted to use that fancy word. It's just astronomically. It just feels good to say that. But either way, my point is you would rather have an 8-slot weapon than a 7-slot weapon. An 8-slot weapon will always be worth more Meseta than a 7-slot weapon. And then as for the other weapon over here, this will give you Good Fortune level 3. So you know when you finish an urgent quest and you break the crystal and there's a bunch of little cubes that give you little question marks, this increases the chances of making more of those items into those unidentified question mark items. So this is good in certain cases. It's not good all the time. So before we talk to Ziggs and hand in this quest, I want to talk about the downside of just having these items. And the main downside is you physically have to have this weapon equipped in order to benefit from this potential. However, when we talk to Ziggs, you won't need to have the weapon equipped and you'll still be able to benefit from both potentials. And that's why Ziggs' quest over here is so important. So you're going to talk to Ziggs, his client order, and you're going to hand in Putting in the Work Augmentalist, right? Blah, blah, blah. And once you finish talking to Ziggs, you're going to check your inventory. You're going to be like, well, the weapon's still there. So what the heck did he give me? And he actually gave you a talisman. However, you're not going to see it in your inventory or anywhere around here. You can look at every single tab and you're like, where's this talisman? Well, in order to see this talisman, it's actually quite the hassle. It's really hidden. You're gonna have to press escape. You have to go to character info, and down here at event items, you're gonna click on event items, and these are all the different permits that you've got. Like, oh, we've got the phantom permit. That way you can play as a phantom, so forth and so on. And we're going to scroll to the very bottom, and down here you'll see that you have the Augmentalist Talisman, gift from Swordsmith Ziggs, weapons imbued with Augmentalist power, which you can take advantage of by placing it in your inventory. So the TLDR for all that mumbo jumbo is, as long as you have this weapon in your inventory, you don't need to equip it, you will benefit from the Augmentalist level 3 potential. So all you need to do is just have it in your inventory whenever you go out and kill stuff and break crystals and do urgent quests, and you will automatically benefit from this, which will increase the number of slots from your weapons as well as units. Now let's hand in the second quest that Ziggs has, and that is putting in the work for good fortune. Again, we talked to him, blah, 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 blah. And again, we're going to go to event items, scroll to the very bottom, and right here, good fortune's talisman. So this will increase the chances of you getting those question mark items. So you may or you may not want to have this depending on what you're doing. So for example, if you're farming for X cubes, you may not want this because then you're going to have to waste precious meseta to identify an item to see if it's 10 stars or not in order to break down into X cubes. So in order to turn off the good fortune talisman, all you have to do is throw this into your storage. Boom, it's not in your inventory anymore, so you don't gain that potential anymore. Now, if you want it back, then you simply just take it out of your storage. So for me, I always keep the Augmentalist on me because the more slots the weapon has or the unit has, the better. Now, if you do play a class that can use the dual sabers and you don't use your weapon palettes like me, then you can simply just like slot it into like slot number 6 or something. So when you're clearing through your inventory, you don't accidentally highlight everything and be like, oh, put to storage. Because if the item is actually equipped onto your character, you can't put it to your storage. Like you can see right here, it won't let me deposit my Trailblazer into the storage because it is equipped. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about appraising items. So when we talk to the appraiser over here, you're going to notice that there's the regular appraise items as well as enhanced appraisal. So most people simply just click on appraise items because it's cheaper. They scroll down and then they just highlight all the regular question marks. And most of your drops are just going to have this little gray question mark. However, you can see over here that I've got a rainbow question mark over here and I've got a gold question mark over here. And this is because the rarity of this weapon is different. So if you see any of these rainbow question marks or even this gold question mark, please use the enhanced appraisal because they are worth it. Mainly because the gold question mark is a guaranteed 15 star and then the rainbow ones are like 13 stars and above, I believe, is why they're rainbow. And then like 12 stars and below are just going to be the regular gray one. However, as I said earlier, I was going to show you a method to determine if a weapon was most likely 8 slots or not. And it's simply when you click on enhance appraisal over here, you want to look at the cost. You can see over here that the cost to identify this weapon right here, this rainbow one, costs 205,000 meseta. While the gold one, which is a guaranteed 15 star, only costs 190,000. And the main reason why the cost fluctuates between all of this gear over here is mainly because of the number of slots. If the cost is 200,000 or above, you have a high chance that that weapon is going to have 8 slots. So we're going to identify all these items down here, well, except for the gray ones down here because they're under 200,000, so there's no chance of them being an 8 slot, but you're going to see over here. So the first item right here, 205,000. Let's identify this. Let's put on the light element and begin appraisal. Boom. So you can see over here, we got cucked royally. We spent that much meseta and it was only 5 slots. So we're going to move on to the next one that costs 210,000 over here. And hopefully this one will redeem us and give us 8 slots. And boom, this one definitely redeemed itself because you can see over here, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has 8 slots. It's got crack 1, which apparently everyone wants, so that's amazing. And it's an 8 slotted Ceres weapon. So over here, you can see in this list, there's no more items that cost 200,000. So we're just going to identify them based off cost, and we're just going to hope that we get an 8 slot, but the chances are a lot lower. So this one's 190,000. I'm assuming there's like going to be like a 6 or 7 slot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 slot right here. Next. The next expensive one is the big shiny 15 star. Let's see what 15 star we got over here. Boom. We got the Accure wired lance. I have no idea what this weapon is, but it is 15 stars. So you can tell just by the question mark, by the color, you'll be able to tell if you got a 15 star or not. Unfortunately, only 4 slots. Next one is the 185,000. Not expecting much here. you see only 5 slots over here. Next one is here, 175,000. Boom, this one, again, only 5 slots. So you can tell just by looking at the cost to identify the item will give you a general idea. However, it's not guaranteed, as you saw on the first item. I got royally screwed there. But on the second item, it definitely paid back. So these are gray items, so that means that they're going to be 12-star or below. So I'm definitely not going to be using the enhanced appraise because it costs way too much and I need my Meseta. So I'm just going to use the regular appraise. You can see it's a lot cheaper, and we're just going to identify all of them all at once. And boom, you see they're all like 3 slot, 4 slot, and there's even an 8-star weapon over here. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Hopefully it was helpful. If it was, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals that boosts the rest?